Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of the Groovy Gold Hunter, and I got another pay dirt review for you. It is actually one that I did a few weeks ago, but I bought another bag of it because I enjoyed it. It's from the Indiana Pay Dirt Company, but I bought a different bag this time, and this one is the Lookout Pay Dirt bag right here. It is guaranteed 2 grams of gold. So without further ado, let's roll the intro so we can get into this. Come on, Heath, let's go. I did the other one that was the sourdough bag, and it was guaranteed 1.25 grams of gold. This is guaranteed 2 grams, but it looks like the exact same material that I did on my last one from the Indiana Pay Dirt Company. So let's go ahead and open it up. We'll put it in this clear bowl right here. At first glance, it doesn't look like there's anything more than 20 mesh, maybe 10 mesh. It's very, very fine material. Don't feel any rocks in it whatsoever. It's a big bag. I would say it's about 3-pound bag, so it's a good amount of pay dirt. So let's cut it open. I do like the bags that they use. They're just big industrial clear plastic bags. Looks like they heat seal it when they get done putting the pay dirt in there, so it makes it to pour out really easy, just like that. Don't have to worry about any kind of material getting stuck in the crevices or the cracks or whatever. Very dry material, but again, if you looked at that material when it poured out, there is nothing in there bigger than, I don't even think it's 10 mesh. I think 20 mesh is probably the biggest that they have. So let's start classifying it and we'll just find out. And I'll go ahead and use a 10 mesh just to see if it falls right through. So let me find a bucket. We'll use this one because this is a lot of pay dirt. I'm going to need a lot of room for this. And I'm just going to drop it through there and see if there's any material that gets caught. Nope, not a single piece. It just fell completely through. So let's go to the 20 mesh and see how that does. We'll take a scoop. Again, this is my 20 mesh right here. Yep, after using my 20 mesh, that seems to be the way to start. Still not a whole lot of material in the 20 mesh. So yeah, that tells me that the gold is not going to be very big. All right, guys, we're back. Sorry, GoPro went kaput. I'm going to have to start using my Canon camera instead of that GoPro. The GoPro is just much easier for getting around and stuff, instead of having to set up this big tripod with my Canon camera and getting all of it set, because I don't have a whole lot of room to record with. Blah, blah, blah. Let's get back to this stuff. This is what I still have to classify. This is what I've already classified right here, and that's what I've gotten out of my 20 mesh so far. Doesn't look like I'm going to get any nuggets in this bag of pay dirt, which is kind of disappointing, but what can you do? Let's do the rest of this, and that will be all of the 20 mesh. Alrighty then, now we're back with the 50 mesh. Done with that. A lot of 50 mesh in that one. That's about a half a bowl full. It's definitely the most material I have classified to this point. Now we're going to move to the 60 mesh. Alright, and I'm back and I'm done with my 60 mesh, and here it is right here. And this is how much I've got left. Okay, and I'm done with the 110. I'm done with the classifying altogether. One thing I noticed about this, and I don't know if you can see it on camera, when I switch this around, all kinds of black sands in this really fine material. So yeah, there's a lot of black sands in these two right here. Okay, I'm going to do this the best I can. There's my 20 mesh, 30 mesh, 40 mesh, 50 mesh, 60 mesh, 110 mesh, and minus 110. All nice and together in 7 magical bowls. That is all of the classifying. Now it's time to start panning. I think I'm going to start small and go up, because there's definitely black sands in that pay dirt. It's probably going to be more difficult to pan, and I don't know if there's any flour gold in that stuff. Possibly could be, so I'm going to start with the minus 110 and see if I find any gold out of that. So we're going to start out with this. This is my minus 110. So very fine stuff, but before I do that, and before I forget, we're going to run a magnet over it and see how much material we can get that's magnetic. Look at that. That's a lot of magnetic material. See, look how much dirt that caught. Non-magnetic, and that's magnetic right there. Pretty amazing. So if it can catch that much stuff, it can also catch that much gold. So I'm going to do a little bit at a time just to see what kind of material I'm dealing with. I think is that gold? Oh golly. Oh man, we got some fine gold. This is not going to be easy to pan. No, I don't know if that's gold. Okay, so there's certain kinds of, I don't know if it's hematite or mica or whatever, but there's certain types of non-gold material that looks like it's gold. And I've had issues with that before where I've had really light, flaky, I don't know if you can see that at the very top. It looks like glitter, best way I can describe it. Alright, so that's all I'm going to pan for now. I'm going to tap it back to see what I get. Wow, golly. I think is that gold? Now, I don't know if my camera's getting this. I'm getting a ton of floaters and a ton. Look at all this gold material that's in here. You see it floating around? It's everywhere. And I put a ton of jet dry in there to release that surface tension. So I'm going to take my eyepiece and look at this stuff because, yeah, it's really hard to tell. This stuff is going to be difficult because there is some fine gold right there, but like all of this shinier stuff that looks just like gold, it's not gold. So some of it is and some of it isn't. I can't tell the difference. See all this stuff that's floating? I'm going to add some jet dry and I'm going to re-stratify it real good, and I'm going to try to get all of that stuff back down. And it's weird because I'm tapping here, but it's all going over here. This is some gnarly stuff. But again, I cannot tell if that's gold or if that's some other substance, because some of it's just floating and coming back. Some of it's not moving. Look at all that. And I don't know what is gold and what isn't. I don't know if any of it's gold, but when I looked at this stuff through here, for the first time ever, I think I'm going to have to just suck all of this stuff up and clean it. I've never had to do that before. Let me get the, oh boy, this is a pain in the ass. There's my black sands, but it's got some gold looking particles in there, and then there's all this. So I'm pretty sure that this is all gold. So I'm gonna go ahead and suck all that up. Not all of this is gold. So there's another batch of gold looking material right there. I'm going to take my brush this time and I'm going to brush all of that stuff to one side so I can get it better with the snuffer bottle. But yeah, I have a feeling that most of this, half of this, some of this, heck, I don't know. Some of this is not gold. Alright. So I think I got all of the gold looking stuff out. I mean, look at the bubbles. That's how much jet dries in there. So yeah, new game plan. I thought this was going to be pretty quick and easy. The last time I panned this stuff, it was just flakes and you know, small pieces. There wasn't any flour gold. So I'm going to continue with this stuff. It's going to take a while, and I don't want to record literally an hour of me doing this. I'll show you the end result after I pan off each section. We'll do it that way. Alright, so here is the last one. The second one was just like the first one. I did it in threes. This is still the -110. Just like the first one, I had this gold mixed with silvery type of substance, but it's all staying together. So instead of me trying to cipher through the two, I just sucked it all up. And what I'll probably do is dry just that stuff up and put it in a bowl, and then get my microscope that has like 2,000 times magnification, and then I'll look at it that route and see, and I can video it too. We'll look at it and see what kind of crap we got in there. Man, this stuff is insane. It's almost like I got 4 different colors of gold in here. So I'm just going to suck all this up. I don't have any other way of doing this. I just got to suck it all up because I can't get it separated from each other. Could it be pyrite? Is that a possibility? Like small, floury pyrite? Got my little microscope here, and I'm going to try to get a picture of it so I can look at this stuff and you guys can look at it with me. So here it is. That does not look like gold, does it? Let me zoom in even more. I can zoom in even more than this. Alright, so there it is. See, now it looks like gold, but some of it doesn't look like gold. Let me try to get around here. I've got it all bunched up, so let me separate it some. So that stuff right there is not gold, but see that piece right there? Is that gold? That looks like gold. Or is it? See, this piece right here looks like gold, and then this stuff right here is not gold. I don't know what that is, but yeah, everywhere I look, let me look over here, that piece right there looks like gold, and then you see the stuff beside it. Is that pyrite? So it's like a mixture of gold and pyrite. And then this big old clump of stuff, it's mostly pyrite, or whatever this substance is. It's got some gold mixed in with it. So like you can see the difference. You can see the gold pieces mixed in. Of course that's got black sand in it as well, but see like there's two gold pieces. There's a gold piece there and a gold piece down here where this little open area is. I can see two gold pieces right there, and then maybe, I don't know. But yeah, this is the stuff I'm talking about, and it's not easy separating the two from each other. Like that looks like a piece of gold, and then all that stuff around it does not look like gold. So golly, I don't know how I'm going to separate that stuff. So yeah, that's what I'm dealing with. Okay, so we're back down in the garage, and the only thing I knew to do is just try to get as much of that stuff as I could out. Probably didn't get all of it out, but I kept the heaviest material. I put it back in the pans, what I did, and I just panned it as best I could to try to get all of the non-gold stuff out. I'll end up repanning this stuff again, but I really don't know how to separate the gold from that stuff. So anyway, there was the 110 stuff. Now let's do the plus 110 stuff. And this is what I've got to pan right here. We'll start with a spoonful, and let's see how this stuff does. Hopefully this won't have the same issue that did, because that was a nightmare. And I can start to see that same material that was in the minus 110. It almost looks like pyrite shavings. Good part about this is the material's a little bit bigger, a little thicker, so I don't have the issues that I had with the other stuff. Let's go ahead and start tapping it and see what's in here. Looks like it's the same type of stuff that I was dealing with a minute ago. Yeah, I don't know what else to do with this stuff. It's not easy to pan out. So I'm going to do a bit more of it. I'm going to stratify it really good. Yeah, most of the time though, gold is heavier. Gold wants to stay back when the sands go, but this other stuff's wanting to stay with it. So I don't know if my camera's picking it up, but I can see those little gold looking flakes not floating on the top of the water, but when the sand comes off, that goes with it. Tap it back, see what we got. Okay, let me tap this back and then let me look at it again. Yeah, see, like all this looks like gold. There's some pieces in there that does not, but all of that's got the consistency and the chunkiness of gold. Actually, once I get finished with all of this stuff and I measure it, that will give me a good idea of what is what, because there is a lot of that stuff in here. And there's all that lighter gold stuff. It's wanting to go with the sands. If this was gold, it would have been at the bottom when I stratified it. And it's floating off really easily with the sand, so it's definitely not gold. I keep telling myself that so I know I'm not losing gold. Alright, let's pan it back. I'm trying to figure out different ways of separating it, and I just don't know a good way of doing it. So I kind of want to say that I've kind of separated, like all this looks like gold. So I'm going to suck all that up. I mean, anything short of me taking each individual piece and separating it, I don't know what else to do. Alright, I'm going to finish this right here. I've still got that much left, which is a lot. I don't think sluicing it would do me any good, but you know what, screw it. I'm going to try, just see what happens. Alright guys, so I'm just going to go ahead and sluice the rest of this. Got to make sure that everything's nice and even. Definitely going to turn the water flow down. And I'm just going to run the rest of this material in this sluice box to see what it catches. It's more of curiosity than anything. I do have a tailings catcher right here, so I do not lose any of my material. And what I'm expecting to happen is all that glittery stuff that is not gold to float up and over and out of the water. So we'll see what happens here. So looking at my tailings, some of it did get out. I do see some stuff in there. And what I'll do is I'll dump some water in this bucket to clean this out. And then I'll pan all this to see what I got out of it. So I've lost my mind. I've absolutely lost my mind because I can't tell what's gold and what's not. There's definitely stuff in there that is not gold, but then there's those little bitty pieces that look like gold, but maybe it's not gold. So I've done the best that I can to separate that stuff. Still don't even know if it's gold. It could be, it's got to be gold. It's got to be gold. So after that sluice, I forgot to hit record. I apologize. But after I sluiced that out, I dumped it into my pan right here. The same thing happened. I tried to get the floaty stuff out and dumped it, and I just sucked the rest up. I know that whatever's in this snuffer bottle is probably about 20% gold, and the rest is that weird stuff. Moving along, we're on our 60 mesh now, so God help us. The only thing I can hope for is, even if the material is still in there, hopefully it's bigger and the gold will show itself. So I'm going to get a clean bow, do the same thing I have been doing. Here we go. Let's see how this mess unfolds. 60 mesh right here. This is not fun pay dirt for me so far, I can tell you that. I don't know what it is, but it's not gold. All right, I'm back. It's Thursday. I'm back in the garage. Let's continue this stuff. So this is the 50 mesh. That's where I'm at. And as I was saying the last time, I do remember this, all that crap that was in there with the gold. It does not look like gold. It looks like pyrite. But yeah, I just could not get it separated. The gold is just not heavy enough to separate from that pyrite or whatever it is. Let's forget about it for right now. Let's continue with this stuff. I'm gonna do a little bit at a time. Yeah, but even, 50 mesh gold will stay. It doesn't go with the sands normally. See, when I tap it, it just stays with the black sands. It does not separate at all. And I have to be careful because I keep seeing these brown pieces not floating away. They look like they're rolling. And every time I look at something that looks like that, it looks like a piece of gold. So I'm just pushing it back every time I see one take off. All right, I'm just gonna suck up what I got over here. I don't wanna just keep, it's gonna take me forever. Okay guys, so we're gonna freeze right there at that moment because the 40 mesh, 30 mesh, and 20 mesh is the exact same thing that I have been doing for the past 20 minutes. It actually took me over 3 hours just to record the stuff that you have seen up to this point. And you're just gonna see 2 more hours of it. I try to edit it down, but it's just taking way too long. So I'm going to skip the 30 mesh and the 40 mesh and showing you that, and me panning and doing all that and getting frustrated and talking about how bad this pay dirt is. So let's go to the 20 mesh after I get nearly done with that, and then we will continue on with the story because there's a whole other half to this story. So bear with me. It does get better, but it gets worse before it gets better. On with the program now. Now all I've got is my 20 mesh and we're done. Now again, I did not classify my stuff in 10 mesh because when I tried my 10 mesh, it just kept falling through. I just went ahead and started with 20 mesh. So I'm hoping that there is a piece of gold somewhere in there that's going to make up for all this crap. But this is all I got, and it's not a whole lot. Not even a half of a bowl. I mean, what do you guys think? You think that the other 1 3/4 is going to be in this right here? I'm growing concerned. Let's see what happens. I'm just panning it off just to see if there's any gold that's eventually going to show up. All right, let's pan it back. A couple taps and I got 2 pieces. 1, 2, right there. The good news is I know that's gold. We need a miracle, folks. We need a miracle. So I got 2 pans left and then we're done. All right, let's bring it back. Oh my God. 2 pieces of gold. So this better be the mother lode. I mean, this has got to at least be a gram's worth of gold. At least. to get that 2 gram mark. There's no way that is 2 grams of gold. There's no way that's 1 gram of gold. All right, guys. So this is where we stand right now. That is how much gold I've got out of that. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to sluice that entire bucket. I'm getting all the pyrite, everything that looks like gold, I'm getting it out and I'm putting it in with that. Then I'm going to weigh it all together. Then I'm going to separate what I know is not gold from what I know is gold, and then weigh it again. And it's going to take me a while because this has turned out to be a tedious process. Instead of it being a fun pay dirt bag to review, it's been an absolute nightmare. Yeah, I'm just going to sluice it. I'm not going to classify it again. This stuff is all little material anyway, so I'm not worried about, you know, if it had big rocks and stuff in it, I would classify it again and try to get it down to 20 mesh, but all this stuff is 20 mesh and below. So I'm just going to sluice the whole thing. Get whatever gold I can out of it, and pyrite, whatever it is, and yeah, I'll repan it. I'll add that to what's in there. I'll just go from there. I don't know what else to do. All right, so I just repanned it, and I'll get a boat so I can show you how much more I got out of it. But we're gonna look at this, like I said, we're gonna look at this separate. I'm just gonna get both of those completely dry. I have sucked every bit and piece of gold that I can possibly get out of it, and that's all I can do. Okay, so there is what I got out of that pay dirt tailings. Again, most of that stuff I was throwing out because I knew it wasn't gold. I'm sure there is some gold in there, and I got to figure out how I'm going to separate the two, but that's the sluice box tailings amount that I got right there. This is the original snuffer bottle right here. I'm going to put this tub right there, and I'm going to tear it out. I'm going to dump this gold in there. So there's that gold. That's after everything I panned out the first time around. 0.554 grams. Now, I'm not going to add that in because I think the stuff right here, all of that except for maybe a couple pieces, is not gold. So I'm going to weigh that separately. So that weighs 0.276, 0.832. Now that is all of it. That's the pyrite and the gold. I didn't even get half of what it guaranteed me. The first thing I'm going to do is I was trying to figure out a way. I'm going to combine them to, well, maybe I won't combine them. I'm going to get my microscope out again, and I'm going to put this batch right here on a plate and take my microscope and scan through the whole thing and show you what I've got. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this one, and same process. I've got my little microscope doohickey right here. That right there is a plate. And I'm going to put all of this powdery gold looking substance on my plate. Here's my microscope right here. If you see in the little bottom right corner of me, I put the tailings stuff on the plate. All right, so here we are. Now, you see the sands and stuff mixed in there. I think like some pieces are like that little, it's so small. I can't just pick one out. I can't say, okay, I can get that piece right there. That's gold. I mean, this is microscopic looking. Look at, these are like little bitty pieces of sand in there as well. But look at this stuff. This is 90% not gold. But then you see like right there in the middle, you see maybe a possibility of a couple of small pieces of gold. If you zoom in, those are gold. I see those two pieces right there. That is gold. Those pieces are gold, probably. The ones that look like crinkled up paper. But look at this stuff. Not gold, not gold, Those are possibly gold. Those pieces right there are possibly gold. Not gold, not gold, not gold, maybe gold, maybe gold. You know, I would say what? Maybe 30% of this stuff, not even that, maybe 10-20% of this is gold. Alright, so this is the stuff that came out of my snuffer bottle. This is the stuff that I panned out successfully. So obviously you look at that piece, yeah, of course that's a piece of gold. Look at the stuff that's around it. That's gold, that's gold, that's gold. That ain't gold, that ain't gold. There's you some gold. Look at that piece right there. That was one of my big pieces. Gold don't do that. Alright guys, welcome back. Got a little update with this pay dirt that I got from Indiana Pay Dirt a little bit more than a week later. And I sent the dude an email because two issues I had. One, there was gold in there, but I couldn't separate the pyrite from the gold. No matter how much I shook it, how much I tried to separate it, I just couldn't get it completely and total separated, not by hand at least. I tried to pan it. I was able to get some of the bigger nuggets out, but it was very frustrating. So I sent the dude an email, and I wasn't happy at the time because when you buy a pay dirt bag and you're getting all of that stuff. He was very nice. He told me that he would look into it, and he said he would send me one this past weekend, and he did. I got it yesterday, and so yeah, now I'm going to pan the bag that he gave me. He said that he was personally going to do the bag himself, and like I said, I got it in yesterday, so we're going to go downstairs and we're going to pan that. Now I did offer to give him back what he gave me because I'm not looking to get more than what I paid for, but I just wasn't about to let that one go because not only was it not even near 2 grams, but it wasn't even gold. Half of it was probably gold, half of it was pyrite. But yeah, he said, no, I don't want it. Just keep it, take that bag. Haven't panned it yet, but yeah, when we go downstairs, I'll show you the bag that he sent me and we'll pan that and see what happens. So yeah, there's my update. Okay, so before we go downstairs and do that, this is a different day, a different time stamp, but I'm putting it in between the first bag and the second bag because I wanted you guys to see the results from the first bag. I actually did separate every bit of it. It took me forever and it was tedious and it was time consuming, but at the time I didn't have a lot to do, so I went ahead and separated all of the gold, which is right here, from all of the pyrite, which is right here. So let's just go ahead and weigh it real quick and I'll show you what I got, an accurate account of what I got. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to show you is the pyrite, which is right here. I'm going to open this little bottle up. So here's the boat. This is all the pyrite. It took me forever to do this, but I got every bit of the pyrite separated from all of the gold. I'm going to put this in the bowl, and this is again the pyrite. So I got 0.301 grams of pyrite. All of that is nothing but pyrite. And this right here is all of the gold. And we'll dump all the gold in there, and that turned out to be 0.379 grams of gold. And that is 100% all gold. So it actually came out a lot less than what the figures came out. It came out to like 0.8 something, but it's actually 0.7 something. Okay, so I couldn't figure out why I had 0.8 of a gram of both, and then when I separated it and cleaned it, all of a sudden it became 0.7, until I realized when I cleaned the pyrite from the gold, not only was I cleaning the pyrite from the gold, but if you saw the earlier video of all those little pieces of sand that was in there, I cleaned all of that junk out as well. So basically all I did was take my microscope, a couple pair of these little tweezers, and I just sat there and picked it apart. I did like one little section at a time, picked it apart, did another section, picked it apart, separated the two. Took me a few days to do it, but I didn't really have anything else better to do, and it was driving me nuts to get that gold separated from the pyrite. So yeah, I did it. And when I did, I actually lost about 1/10 of a gram due to all the sand that was in there as well. So that's 100% gold there. That's 100% pyrite right there. I just wanted to put that in before we went to the second bag. So let's go to the second bag right now. So let's go ahead and classify this. I went ahead and opened it. So here's the material right there. And there's nothing in here greater than 20 mesh. So I'm starting with my 20 mesh classifier, and we'll just go ahead and classify it. I don't know what kind of gold will be in this one, so I'm going to go ahead and just start with 20 and work my way down to see where we get. But yeah, it's pretty similar to the last one I did. I did put a 10 mesh through it and it just all fell through. So, and I will try to go through this as fast as I can since we already worked on the first one. So what I'll probably do is just show you this one and then possibly the 30 mesh, and then I'll just cut straight to what I got it down to, and then we'll start panning. So yeah, there is the 20 mesh. I'll set that aside and I'll go ahead and do the 30 mesh and just keep going down until I get to a stopping point, and then I'll get back with you when I'm done. Okay, I've almost got it done. It's taking me a while, so I'm just gonna do this as fast as I can, get this classification over, and there it is. So let's start with what I did. 10 mesh, it went right through. So there's your 20 mesh, 30 mesh, your 40, your 50, your 60, and everything underneath 60. That'll probably be the hardest one because that's the minus 60. I did not want to go any further than that. If I find any gold in that that's really, really fine, I'll probably stop and then classify that down to 100. Now it's time to pan. Sure hope this camera's working better than the last one. Let's go ahead and start with the minus 60. Probably should have done a little magnetic test. And we'll do that right now. That's a lot of magnetic stuff. It just sucks that all up. I don't know if anybody else has ever bought pay dirt and was guaranteed gold. I know, I mean, heck, I bought pay dirt and just had bad return on it. That's not what this was. But the whole deal with the pyrite's what got me. Because technically, if you look at the description on the website, it doesn't guarantee anything. It just says approximately 2 grams of gold. You don't say approximately give you half a gram. That's not approximately. That's like not even close. Here's the new stuff. And again, I don't know what's in this. The last time I panned the other bag, there was a lot of small material, a lot of flour gold, a lot of flour pyrite, which was a first for me as well. I've had pyrite in my pay dirt before, but never little bitty chunks of it. You know, usually if you get pyrite, it's a big chunk of it. It's not little bitty pieces of it. And that was what I got, just tiny pieces of it. All right, so we did get some gold here, I think. I will look at it and get a close-up for you. There's our first little bit right here, about 15 pieces. And let's go ahead and suck it up. I'm going to trust that this is gold. I'm not going to get my magnifying glass out. I've got my eyepiece and my battery went dead on it, so I can't even use that. I'm going to try to pan this out as fast as I can. I might do some high-speed shots. Let's look at the gold. I can tell this is gold too because it's wanting, it doesn't go anywhere. But there's that gold right through there. Let's suck it up, and I'm gonna pan this back one more time because I think I saw a little bitty piece of gold get by. Oh, look at that. Sucked all that up, pushed it back out. It all shot right back out into the pan. That's a good lesson for everyone who hasn't gold panned before. If you're ever panning for gold and you use a snuffer bottle to suck it up and you gotta push it in again to get more, make sure you do it over your pan and not away from it like in your tailings, because there could be little bitty pieces of gold still stuck in your straw, and if you push it back out like that, that gold can spit right back out. So I'll just pan this back twice, and there were 2 more little bitty pieces of gold. So I'm going to do it one more time just to make sure. Got it all. Tap this back. I said that. Now look at all my gold's gone with it. Yeah, anytime that you do flour gold and you've got black sands like that in there, always don't dump that, repan it. Even if you think you didn't see any gold go through there, there's always a good chance that one piece went with a piece of sand. But there's the gold all through here. I hope that it's getting that on camera. Last one of the 60. Alright, let's pan this back. Yeah, the black sands are separating really well from the gold. Alright, and there is the rest of that 60 mesh right there. All those little bitty flower pieces. Suck them up, so I will be right back. I didn't like the fact that I had to get another one, but at the same time, I'm really glad that the guy didn't think I was just full of crap trying to get gold, because he could have easily just said, dude, I'm not sending you any more tough crap. Had he had done that, I would have probably posted that video and said, this is what I got, don't buy from that company. But he made it right, hopefully. Again, haven't panned this stuff out, so I'm going to assume he made it right. That would really suck if he like put like another half a gram of gold in there, but I doubt that. But I'd done another pay dirt. Now this pay dirt that I bought wasn't an actual pay dirt vendor. It was some Joe Blow from some woman from Florida who sold her own pay dirt, and she guaranteed a half a gram of gold, and it was $45 for a bag of her gold, and it was on Etsy. And that was the first and only time I've ever bought pay dirt from Etsy. But I did it because I didn't have any gold at the time. I wanted to do a review, so I thought I want to do a review from this place because it's a different, it's different. It's not the same companies that most people do reviews on. Try something a little different. And now I see why people don't do reviews on stuff like that, because she did put pyrite in there. She guaranteed, like I said, a half a gram of gold. It was almost a similar situation as this. It was mostly pyrite. There was one piece of gold that weighed 1/10 of a gram, and the pyrite weighed about, I think it weighed 25 hundredths of a gram. So not only did I not get any gold out of it, except for one little bitty piece, but I got a bunch of pyrite, and it still didn't weigh a half a gram. And that was the only other time that I've ever bought pay dirt from anybody where that's happened. So here's the second batch. But I think that's good enough. I'll clean it up later, but there you go. Right there. Nice little line right there. Suck it up, move on. And there is the rest of that plus 60. So yeah, I got a few pieces out of that plus 60. Alright guys, so that is all I'm going to do tonight. It's very late. It's probably like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I will continue this tomorrow. For me, see you in the morning. For you, 1 second later. It is the next day. Let's continue panning. So this is my 50 mesh. I'm going to go ahead and get all my magnetic material out of my 50. Alright, let's get started. Yeah, it's about 11 o'clock at night. I was going to try to get into the garage earlier, but I've got so much editing to do with my other pay dirt videos. Yeah, this material is really heavy because I can already see a little piece of gold here, and this stuff just does not want to do a whole lot of moving, so I have to keep re-stratifying it to get that gold back down. But when I'm using the ripples, it just doesn't want to go. I'm going to start making myself try out new pans. I've been using this pan forever. First pan I bought, and it's still the pan I go to. And I've got other pans, but I just always go back to this one. Alright, try to get that gold back. See how that sand's wanting to stay back with the gold? But panning it back is not as hard as you would think it would be. That sand wants to get out of there then, and the gold does stay back, so that's a good thing, right? About 15, 20 pieces, maybe more than that. Cardinal sin. I stuck my finger in there. I said cardinal sin because I learned, anybody who knows how to pan, which I'm sure everybody who's watching my video does, biggest issue that I have with panning gold, and especially very light gold, is floating gold. I knew it, but I've forgotten about it. When you pan for gold, I always wondered why people wore gloves. I always thought, why are people so scared of touching gold and dirt? It's just gold and dirt. The reason why they wear gloves is because our hands have oils all over them. And when you stick them in the water and you stick them in here, the whole purpose of jet dry surfactant is to break the water surface tension. And when you have oil on your fingers and you get it into the water, it reverses it, and then all of a sudden you're going to have floating gold again. So I don't have to wear gloves, but if I'm going to keep sticking my hands in the water and moving stuff around, I need to wear gloves. And I've known that, and I just always forget about it. So let's wear gloves and see if I can help myself from, or keep myself from sticking my oily hands in there. All right, continuing on with the 50. Tap, 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 tap. Go, 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 go. No pyrite, all gold. Alright, tap it back. There's a lot of black sands in there, but I'm afraid I'll lose gold if I keep doing it that route. But yeah, this stuff pans off pretty easily. I don't know why it pans off easier this way than it would off of the pan. Nice bunch of gold right there. Nice flakes. Alright, I'm going to suck this up, and now we're going to move to the minus 40 stuff. So I'll be right back. Alright, now we got the 40 mesh plus 40 minus 30. We'll do about a third, and a third. It's not as much material in there, but I'm almost going to guarantee there will be gold in all of this material. Because again, this is 2 grams worth of gold, supposed to be, approximately. And since there's no big gold in here, there should be a lot of little gold to add up to 2 grams. Tap it, pan it back. 25 little flakes right there. We'll suck that up, move on. Alright guys, now we are at our 30 mesh. We still have 2 more. We should start to see a lot more gold. Yeah, the bigger the material, the easier it's been to pan. I haven't seen any gold so far. Oh, there it is. Not a lot though. Very little. Wow. Definitely thought I'd see a lot more than this. What did I get? 10, 11 pieces right there out of my first little batch. Okay, so this is my last batch of 30 mesh. And then all we've got left is my 20 and we're done. Pan this back. Oh yeah, pretty good amount of gold in that. Got all the black sands out. There's your results. Nice amount there, about 20. And there it is, the final bow, the 20 mesh. This is it. This is the biggest classification right here. There are no rocks bigger than that. So you can tell that they screened it and classified it themselves when they did their own pay dirt bags. So probably 3 pans. Start out with that much. You can already see some gold right there, poking its little head out. See it? I don't know if you can with this new camera. We'll find out in editing. Ooh, there's a lot. Tap it back. Oh yeah, looky there. Boom. There's a garnet right there. Ooh, I gotta grab that. There's a garnet. There's a garnet. I don't do nothing with them. I just like them. Cool. That's a lot right there. Look at that. Nice big flakes. Suck that up and move on. All right. All right, let's tap it back. Yeah, that's a good size one right there. Let me spread them out so you can see them. 3, 6, 8, right there. Suck it up. We got one more to go and we are done. Tap, tap, tap. Oh yeah, look at all that. Wow. Man. Yeah, now that is a good pan of gold right there. And that was a good bag of gold. Much, much better than the first one. 1,000 times better. Absolutely awesome. All right, let me spray all this off and then I'll show you the final pan. And there it is. That's a lot of gold. And we are done. So yeah, I'm going to pour this out. Whether this is 2 grams or not, I'm happy with that because I know I got 4/10 of a gram of gold. I know that's more than 1.5 grams. So even if it wasn't 2 grams, I'm happy with that. So I'm going to dry that out, stick it in a bowl, then we'll go upstairs, weigh it. You know the drill. So see you guys upstairs. All right, here is all of the gold and the one garnet in the middle. A lot of fines, a lot of flakes. Okay, now we got you on the overhead view. Now let's find all of my stuff to weigh it. Turn on my scale, zero it out. Now it's time to dump the gold. I tell you what, that man is precise. You can't get more precise than that. That dude was giving me the 2 grams to the thousandth. It was 2.000. I don't know, maybe a piece of lint flew on it. It's exactly 2 grams of gold. All right, so let's get on the gold calculator and get a value. All right, guys, now we're on the gold calculator, and I know I will not forget that amount because it was exactly 2.005 is what it ended up being. Grams of gold. I'm going to call it 24 karat because it's natural placer gold. And man, look at the prices of gold. It has dropped to $18.88. Man, it's gone down $100 in a month. Calculate 121.73 is the total. And let's go to the percentage calculator. 120, or I got 121.73. Paid 157.73. And this is the pay dirt that I got. This $150 bag, and shipping was $7.73. So $157.73. Calculate 77% return on investment. So that's not bad, especially as low as gold's been. Man, gold was up 1960, 70. It got over $2,000 more than a month ago. So that's surprising. Still a good return. 77% is a really good return for pay dirt vendor. All right, so yeah, there you have it. The revised pay dirt bag from Indiana Pay Dirt, prospectinggear.com. He made it right, and you can't ask for anything more than that. Most pay dirt companies would not have done that. So to Indiana Pay Dirt Company, Prospecting Gear, whatever you want to call your name, Jeffrey Benke, I think is his last name. Thank you so much for making it right. I do appreciate it because I'm not into getting more than what I paid for. But anyway, other than that, it was good pay dirt. I enjoyed it. Both pay dirts I enjoyed, except for the pyrite part. That pyrite is a pain in the butt to get out of gold. I literally spent a week trying to separate that stuff, and I think I got most of it, but man, That was a pain. So that being said, that does it for this video. Don't know how I'm going to cut this video, but once I figure it out, you obviously have seen it by now and you know how I cut it. So, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I appreciate everybody who has watched it. Thank you so much. Do not forget to hit that subscribe button, like button, share button. Also hit the notification button. That way every time I put out a new video, you guys will be the first ones to see it. So yeah, thanks for watching again, and I will see you on my next pay dirt review. Peace and love. Bye.